Darth Maul has made a long list of appearances in Star Wars games, dating all the way back to 1999 alongside his screen debut in The Phantom Menace. And recently, I took a closer look at the cancelled Darth Maul game and learned more about Darth Maul's origins and his history in video games, and so decided to make this. Hey everyone, it's Andrew. And today I'm going to look at every single game that features Darth Maul. Every game I could find anyway that's on a console or a handheld device. I tried to be pretty comprehensive and spent a lot of time researching this list, but I'm sure you'll let me know if I missed any, which I'm sure I did, because there are so many Star Wars games out there. But let's go. We kick things off all the way back in 1999 with Star Wars The Phantom Menace, the movie tie-in released for PC and the PlayStation 1. The game follows the story of the film, and you face Darth Maul in two separate boss fights. And what I like about this game is that it stays true to the film, for the most part. In the first fight, you play as Qui-Gon Jinn, and Maul fights you with a single blade, like he does in the film. And then later, in the Naboo hangar and reactor complex, you play as Obi Wan, see Maul defeat Qui-Gon, then face Maul yourself. And you can even force push Maul into the shaft down the middle. Darth Maul also has a red Force lightning attack, which is kind of unique to this game, I think. And this game had positive to mixed reviews, with good role-playing mechanics and decent graphics for its time, but terrible camera angles. What is this? How are you supposed to play this? Next, we have Star Wars Jedi Power Battles in the year 2000, released for the PlayStation, Dreamcast, and Game Boy Advance. Jedi Power Battles is also set during the events of The Phantom Menace, and gameplay is focused on platforming and beat 'em up. Darth Maul is the final battle of the game, and you can choose to face him with any of the game's 5 playable characters. Obi-Wan, Mace Windu with a blue lightsaber, Adi Gallia with a red saber, Plo Koon with an orange lightsaber, that's what I'll always remember this game for, and Qui-Gon Jinn. You can actually defeat Darth Maul as Qui-Gon, there's some Jedi revenge there. And Darth Maul in this game doesn't really feel like his true aggressive self, seems to be a lot slower and just block your attacks, but you can actually play through the game as Darth Maul. He's a bonus character you can unlock later, and then face off against Darth Maul with Darth Maul, although the Maul you play as only has a single-bladed lightsaber, so you really shouldn't win against the double-bladed Maul. Star Wars Demolition was also released in the year 2000 for the PlayStation and Sega Dreamcast. This is the first game to feature gameplay of Darth Maul's Bloodfin speeder bike. Demolition is a vehicular combat game. It's basically Demolition Derby for Star Wars, last vehicle standing wins. The story is hilarious as well. The Empire declares an official ban on Jabba the Hutt's pod races, so Jabba comes up with a more deadly vehicle sport to replace pod racing, and that's what this is. Darth Maul can turn on his lightsaber while on the speeder and use it to swipe other vehicles that drive by. His speeder bike is equipped with a blaster cannon on the front, and he can pick up other various abilities while riding around. I've never played this game, but would be really keen to give it a go. Next up is Star Wars Obi-Wan's Adventures, released in 2000 for the Game Boy Color. That was actually my first handheld gaming device. I got the green version, love it. Another game that follows the events of The Phantom Menace. You play as Obi-Wan and eventually have to face off against Darth Maul in the final battle. Maul only uses a single blade in this game though, and tends to flip over the top of Obi-Wan and try and attack from behind. That's a common trait of Darth Maul's behavior in this game. 2001 was a busy year for Darth Maul in video games, making more appearances than any other year. We're starting things off with Star Wars Obi-Wan, a game that unfortunately looks much better than it actually is. This game was an Xbox exclusive. You play as Obi-Wan, and the game starts in the weeks leading up to the events of The Phantom Menace and ends with a final battle against Maul. Darth Maul seems to be the final battle specialist of all these Star Wars games. The final battle begins with Obi-Wan looking through the ray shield on Naboo and seeing Qui-Gon killed by Maul. And you can say what you like about this game, but it has probably the most advanced video game version of Maul up until this point. Maul is fast, aggressive, and has a variety of attacks he'll throw at you. Also, his face in this game looks like this. Looks like they got the horns to head sizing a little wrong. Went a little overboard there with the horns. Next up is a game I used to play for hours on end when I was a kid, and it's not a Star Wars game. Tony Hawk's Pro Skater 3. You can play as Darth Maul in this game. He's a skater. Unlocked by either completing all goals and gold medals in career mode as Tony Hawk, or by entering a cheat code. That's how I I played as him. He rides with his double-bladed lightsaber turned on and has a hoverboard. And if you stand next to an AI character while out skating, after a few moments, Maul performs a force choke on them. Love these video game character crossovers. Also, what's interesting about this game is that on Metacritic, it's tied as the highest rated PS2 game ever made, sharing a score of 97 out of 100 with GTA 3. Next, we have the real-time strategy game Star Wars Galactic Battlegrounds. This game actually features an alternate history in which Darth Maul is killed by both Qui-Gon and Obi Wan. Nothing groundbreaking for Maul here though in terms of gameplay, but he seems to talk a lot more than in any other previous game, so there's that.
I must capture him personally.
Next is possibly one of the most ridiculous Star Wars games ever made, Star Wars Super Bombad Racing. Even the title is hilarious. This game is basically Mario Kart for Star Wars and was seen as LucasArts trying to cash in on the whole kart racing game. It didn't work out though, the game was terrible. And each Star Wars character playable in the game sits in a miniature version of their vehicle, and they all look like bobbleheads you put on your dashboard. Darth Maul actually flies his scimitar and sits in it, and he's huge and the ship is small. It's really weird. I don't think there's too much more I need to say about this one. It speaks for itself. Next is another racing game, Star Wars Racer Revenge, released in 2002 for PlayStation 2 and also later ported onto the PS3 and PS4. A pod racing game and the sequel to Star Wars Racer, you can unlock Darth Maul by getting the best KO score on all tracks by destroying other pod racers. But again, I'm pretty sure there's a cheat code to unlock him if you don't want to do that. And the Maul pod in this game is actually pretty cool. Its design is based on his scimitar ship, except split in half to create each side of the pod. It's a good idea. And if you win a tournament as Darth Maul, a cutscene will play in Jabba's palace, where Jabba presents an expressionless, dumbfounded Darth Maul with the tournament trophy. It's pretty hilarious seeing Maul take the trophy, admire it, then lift it into the air. I don't think he really knows what's going on, and I'm so glad this exists. Next, we're jumping ahead to 2005 with LEGO Star Wars the video game, the game that changed LEGO gaming forever. Playable on PS2, Xbox, Game Boy Advance, GameCube, Windows, and OS X, the game follows the events of the prequel trilogy of films, which is interesting because it actually came out before Revenge of the Sith was even released. You face Darth Maul in the final mission of the Phantom Menace, but he's also available as a playable character who can be unlocked in the store. He also always wears his hood in this LEGO Star Wars. Also, if you're wondering about the differences between this game and the complete saga, the original LEGO Star Wars features Dexter's Diner as the hub world, and of course only contains the prequel missions. The next game on this list is not only a revolutionary game for Darth Maul, it's possibly one of the most groundbreaking Star Wars games ever made. Star Wars Battlefront 2, the original, released in 2005 for PS2, PSP, Windows, and Xbox. Battlefront 2 had the most advanced version of Darth Maul at the time, gameplay-wise, and what I love about hero gameplay in this game is that you can attack in all directions, moving forwards, backwards, sideways, diagonally. If you keep pressing the attack button, Maul will keep swinging his lightsaber. Darth Maul's abilities in Battlefront 2 include a saber throw, which covers a larger area than a regular saber throw due to the double blade, as well as a force push. He's an absolute beast in this game, super fun to play as. He's fast, aggressive, powerful, can absolutely destroy large groups of clones and enemies. It's great. Next is 2007's LEGO Star Wars The Complete Saga, the game that combined both the original LEGO Star Wars and LEGO Star Wars 2, the original trilogy, into one game. Darth Maul plays the same in this game as he does in the first LEGO Star Wars. Not much else has changed here apart from the fact they've combined the two games into one, and the hub world is now the Mos Eisley Cantina. 2007 was also the year Star Wars Battlefront Renegade Squadron was released exclusively to the PSP, and I couldn't find any gameplay online and don't own this game, so don't have any footage of Maul. But here's some Count Dooku gameplay in Renegade Squadron, and here's Maul in Battlefront 2 on the PSP. So you can imagine he fits and plays somewhere in between these two. If you combine these, you'll get Maul in Renegade Squadron. Back in 2008, a mod for the 2003 game Star Wars Jedi Knight Jedi Jedi Academy was released. The mod is called Knights of the Force and adds additional missions and characters to the game. One of these being Darth Maul. The Duel of the Fates mission allows you to play as Darth Maul in the Phantom Menace and use the advanced lightsaber combat mechanics of Jedi Academy to defeat both Qui-Gon and Obi Wan with Maul's double-bladed lightsaber. Brutal game. You can even force push them into the reactor shaft, the ultimate Maul vengeance mission. And I'm pretty sure some modders actually still work on this mod, so it's cool to see it's still alive today. Next up in 2008, we have Star Wars The Force Unleashed. Starkiller faces the proxy droid, who changes and morphs into different characters and reveals one final character Starkiller has to face, Darth Maul. Proxy Maul is eventually defeated by Starkiller and brutally gets impaled by his own lightsaber split in half. And one of the Force Unleashed expansions also comes with a Darth Maul skin for Starkiller, so you can basically play the whole game as Darth Maul, although using Starkiller's lightsaber technique and single blade. Next up is 2009 Star Wars Battlefront Elite Squadron, a handheld game exclusive to the PSP and Nintendo DS. Darth Maul in this game moves somewhat similar to his original Battlefront 2 version, although feels slower and like you have less control. It's a PSP game after all. And I feel like Maul is always at an advantage in Heroes vs Villains game modes just because of the double blade, and that's the case here. Next is the 2010 fan favorite Star Wars Clone Wars Adventures, the web game. This is the first Star Wars game to feature Maul with his mechanical legs. There are two modes in which you could face Maul. One was the Ancient Sith Academy, where Maul was the final boss, and the other is the Dark Side lightsaber duel minigame, a round-based game mode. And it's great to see Maul making a comeback with the mechanical legs. Actually, now that I think of it, it's funny that very few of these games on this list have shown Darth Maul getting cut in half. I guess nobody actually wanted him to die like that. Next up, we have a Star Wars The Force Unleashed 2 mod, which turns Starkiller into Darth Maul with his double-bladed lightsaber. The mod even features Maul's unique lightsaber animations, and it's pretty interesting using Starkiller's force powers as Darth Maul, like Force Lightning, this Force Burst. I feel like The Force Unleashed 2 is the perfect game to play as Maul, just because of how overpowered you are in this game. Lots of fun destroying waves of troopers as Darth Maul. Insanely powerful character. The next appearance for Maul came in LEGO Star Wars 3 The Clone Wars. Even though this is a game featuring characters from the Clone Wars TV show, Darth Maul is playable in his classic Black Sith appearance. Although this time, unlike previous LEGO Star Wars games, his hood is down, revealing Maul's Zabrak horns. His lightsaber combat is also more developed in this game, performing combos, flips, and smooth swings with his double-bladed lightsaber. Also in 2011, a game that I think really deserves to be on this list is the cancelled single-player Darth Maul game. With working titles Maul and Battle of the Sith Lords, this game was originally going to tell the tale of a young Darth Maul before the events of the Phantom Menace. It featured gameplay of Maul fighting Mandalorians, Maul's Bloodfin speeder bike, a probe droid mechanic, with gameplay being focused on stealth and action, taking inspiration from the Batman Arkham series of games. And the game was cancelled in 2011 during the process of Lucasfilm being sold to Disney and LucasArts being shut down. If you want to know more about this game, it's really interesting. I actually got to interview the game's creator. You can find that video in the top right hand corner and on my channel. Next, we're jumping ahead 4 years to 2015 with Disney Infinity 3.0. Darth Maul is the final boss fight in the Twilight of the Republic playset. And is it just me, or does Maul's head look bigger than any of the other characters in this game? Anyway, you can also play as Maul, and he has some pretty decent attacks. A downward force slam sends all surrounding enemies flying, and he has a few very quick lightsaber moves. I think the key to making Maul feel like Maul is the double blade. This needs to feel quick, agile, and devastating, and be animated really well, and I get that vibe from this game. Now I'm going to throw a few mobile games into the mix. The first of those is Star Wars Galaxy of Heroes in 2015. This is a turn-based mobile game, so obviously Maul's gameplay is going to be kind of different, but he does use his double blade, of course, and is a playable character, so thought it was worth mentioning. And another mobile game, Star Wars Force Arena from 2016, which actually no longer exists, also featured Darth Maul. Something I love about Maul in this game is his death sound. It's the same sound he makes in the Phantom Menace when Obi Wan cuts him in half. Love it. This is the only reason I put this game on this list. Next up, in 2017, is one of the most immersive Darth Maul experiences you'll ever have. Star Wars Jedi Challenges, the augmented reality game developed by Lenovo, has a mode where you can face off against Darth Maul. When the battle begins, Maul only uses a single blade, but then as you deal more damage, he moves away from you and performs that classic Maul move where he turns on both sides of his lightsaber, and then you gotta fight him again. Epic. Absolutely epic. And he gets more aggressive. And next up is the game you've all been waiting for, Star Wars Battlefront 2. To date, I think this is probably the best, most complete video game version of Darth Maul. He broke back into the gaming spotlight with his sector is clear moment.
Sector is clear. Not clear. Not clear.
And since has been one of the most popular playable heroes in Battlefront 2. Also probably the most aggressive version of Maul in any video game. His abilities include Furious Throw, Chokehold, Spin Attack, he has the fastest saber swing in the game, he's been updated numerous times, has been given the ability to block blaster fire, been given new voice lines, and is due to be updated with some new skins, fingers crossed. The Battlefront 2 modding community has already gone to town on this. There's a mod that's given him robot legs from the Clone Wars, a hooded skin, a Mandalorian skin with a darksaber, among others. I think it's safe to say Battlefront 2 offers the ultimate Darth Maul gaming experience. Next, releasing in 2020, we have LEGO Star Wars The Skywalker Saga. So far, Darth Maul appears in both trailers for the game with two separate skins, one fighting Obi Wan and Qui-Gon with his hood down, and then this shot where his hood is up. The new LEGO Star Wars will definitely bring the most developed version of Darth Maul to LEGO gaming, as the game features an all-new combat system, an open world, and new mechanics. So, did I miss any games? And what's your favorite game featuring Darth Maul? Let me know in the comments. I'm gonna link my video about the cancelled Darth Maul game here. It's pretty interesting seeing the direction of the project, the story it was gonna tell, and the reasons why it was cancelled. You can follow me on Instagram, Twitter, and join my Discord community for lots more Star Wars gaming, news, mods, old Star Wars games, and more content like this. Go follow me on those. And thanks for watching this. My name's Andrew. I'll catch you soon.
Stay bombastic.